Hi, I'm Sheelah Brennan, and today I'm going to try to convince you why you should prototype it. Well, today I'll be focusing on web. The concepts I'll be covering apply just as easily to other platforms. First, a little bit about me. I'm a front-end engineer, formerly worked in DevOps. I love tinkering with CSS, and I infrequently blog at SheelahB.com. So why would I prototype it? Well, maybe you just heard back from a product manager you're working with a message like this. Or maybe you just heard back from a designer that you're working with on a key project with this. So, what are some specific cases where you might want to consider prototyping it? Well, one is to start building out more complex interactions up front, even before the final comps are ready, just to figure out exactly what's possible and to also get a leg up on whatever the problem areas are. And it also allows you to get early feedback on what you're building. Another reason to prototype is to figure out the best way to build a series of animations that you're adding for a new feature. By building it in isolation, it's much easier to focus on the animations themselves, how the best way to build them is, and to make sure that they're smooth and performant. Or maybe you just want to prototype it to explore the possibilities of a new tool or framework that you haven't used before. You might discover a new favorite. So now you might be asking, how should I build a prototype? I normally opt for online tools like CodePen. There's also CodeSandbox or JSFiddle. There's plenty of tools out there. It's most important to find one that you're comfortable with, and if that for you is just to build something on your local machine, then that's what you should go with. Something to decide up front is the level of fidelity that you need or the level of detail for your prototype. I highly recommend going with low fidelity if you can, and then you might have to go up to mid fidelity if you're going to be sharing your prototype with a wider audience that needs to see more detail to understand what the final product may look like. And now it's demo time. Here's some examples of prototypes that I've built. This first one was to figure out how to build a group of animations that were starting at different times, involved change in background color, changes in SVG positioning and fill color, and some swapping out of PNG images as well. This one was for a menu interaction that we needed in a new app. And by building this separately as a prototype, I was able to get feedback from the designers early on, and it saved a ton of time when it came time to integrate this into the app. This is an example of a prototype for a navigation menu. There was a lot of changes at different screen widths in layout and animation needs, and by building this out up front, I was able to get some great feedback from the design team. It saved a lot of time later. And finally, one in the just for fun category. I built this out when I was first experimenting with Vue.js, which is a JavaScript framework. I just wanted to see what it was like and to try out also at the same time some CSS animations. Finally, some takeaways before we wrap up. Keep it simple. Unless you really want to dive deep, it's all up to you. Start small and you can always build on what you've started with and add more detail or functionality if needed later. Remember that this is throwaway code. It's more a proof of concept or to get feedback from a wider team. You can always improve on the code or throw it away and start over when it's time to make something production ready. Most importantly, have fun.